This is the Okayest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
Well, happy 4th of July week. It is the 6th. We did not record on the 4th. That was a Tuesday when we normally do it, and we didn't do it live. So we're doing an episode this week with the Working Class Bowhunter crew, the fellows over there, virtually. We're brought to you by Half Rack. Check out half-rack.com. Use code OHP across all of our partnerships. That's Latitude, that's Spartan Forge, that's Method, that's Go Wild. And they all get their own episode or two every year, so we don't got to go into all the details there, but this is the time. This is the time of year you want to be going to our partner websites and buying shit and saving money while you're doing it. Like,
it's coming. It'll be here soon.
Yeah, Spartan Forge about to drop their LiDAR stuff. If you don't know what LiDAR means, Google it. You don't want to hear me explain it, but it's basically like, you ever see a rat, but then you see like a naked rat? It's like, you ever see topo imagery, but then you see topo imagery?
That's what we're comparing it to, as a naked freaking rat?
Yeah, it's like Hills Without Trees. Is that a movie? The Hills Have Eyes? It's the Hills Without... Whatever. It's like you're going to see, crevices and cracks and all sorts of weird stuff you've never seen on terrain before. Because
and we're not talking
naked.
about your backside either.
That's right. Latitude, they are about to launch their Latitude Carbon Series Speed Sticks. Stay tuned. We're getting those when they got them, along with the platform. So we're running the Method 2 saddle right now. I think that's what you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Derek's the only one with the single panel one, right?
Yep.
I don't know what that one's even called. That's the Method 1?
Yeah, something to that effect.
Yeah. Anyway, check it out. Go Wild. They have everything. Go to Go Wild. Go log some time. Save some money on stuff. They got everything. So enjoy yourself. And obviously, Half Rack has all of the accessories you're going to need to make sure you're buttoned up for hunting season. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all I got for that. I didn't lose any fingers. This is the 9 Finger Chronicle podcast. This is the Okayest Hunter podcast coming at you from the cat litter basement of the Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Anyway, what's up, WCB? What's going on, guys?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, what's crapping?
What's up?
Not much. I'm already like 2 bourbons deep because we just did an episode with you guys. So this ought to be real interesting.
Sorry.
Oops.
Sorry, but
sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Wisconsin guys drink more than Illinois and Iowa boys. I mean, so I've heard.
I just think they have something to do. Like, while I'm recording, I have to have this, and it's not going to be water. I'm not going to do that, and beer gets cold.
That might be, but you guys can legally smoke more weed than we can.
Yeah, but nobody wants to hear that on a podcast, man.
But you guys can drink in the bars at like 14 legally.
As long as you're true. Parent, yeah. No, so welcome to the Okayest Hunter podcast. Switching gears on you guys, bringing into our virtual studio. I don't know. You guys have come a long way from like your early days and have transcended a lot of stuff. You guys are the OGs. So to have you guys on our podcast feels like we're bringing like a bigger player on. So I feel like I don't even know how to be a host of this.
Well, don't say that, but I appreciate you giving us like the credit, man.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it, but like, but don't sell yourself short at the same time, man. Like, we just had an intern start, and I was telling them when we first started, we spent more time plugging what a podcast was than what we actually were. And like the first trade shows we did with our banner, it was mostly people like
internet
scowling at us like, what's a podcast? And then by the time we got to explaining what it was, they're like, oh yeah, but they were walking away. And I'm like, all right, never mind.
Do you remember having to invite people on your podcast? They're like, so do I need to come to you, or what do you mean? They didn't even understand.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was what is it? That's what it was. And then like companies being like, huh? No. We were like accidentally attached to a lot of threads from companies early on. That's like, is it worth my time? And now all those companies have secondhand podcasts, I like to call them. So it's kind of funny, like the way the world of outdoor media has changed since we started. But
which it really hasn't been that long.
It doesn't feel like it. It's been going on. I mean, we're halfway through our 8th year, so.
Holy shit. Halfway through 8th year. Wow. And you guys do a lot. Like, talk about all the things you guys have going on, because like when I first met you guys, I don't know, when was that? Like 2016. I think it's like the year I got married. It was been like 26. Fuck, when did I get married? My wife.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Easy.
Yeah, you
He knows
I'm
what
on
he
year
is.
7. I'm going on year 7. I just can't do the math on it.
Come
I
on.
can't do the math on it. I don't know what year it is right now.
2016-ish.
Yeah, 2016. Yeah. So, that sounds
Yes.
about right.
somewhere in there.
I remember I was at my apartment when I lived with my fiance at the time, my now wife, and I remember like running into you guys and like, whoa, look at these guys. And back then, you guys were in your house like we are now for us, but now you have like you've been at every trade show. You're on a trade show circuit. You have several podcasts on your network. You do a WCB shoot. You're doing a lot of things. Can you just unpack some of that a little bit about like your ethos and all the things you're doing?
Yeah, we I don't know what the word ethos means, but I'll pretend like I do.
I don't either.
I was gonna keep that from smart.
I'll pretend like I do. And no, I mean, we're just having a good time, man, like doing what we do. I think our style is very, I feel like I don't really have any like hesitance in saying we've kind of crowned our own vibe in the space of kind of being borderline reckless but honest. And I feel like transparent overall, but yeah, we've kind of paved our own style in podcasting. And then now, we have our own studio. We have a building. We actually have 2 buildings that we've bought, and we're remodeling one. We have a firearm podcast now called the Victory Drive Podcast. We have a fishing podcast called Tackle and Tacos. We have 2 sub-series, one called the CC Hunt Files, which covers about everything, but the easiest way to explain it is like the Midwestern guy wanting to go west, or / motivational series to accomplish like your hunting goals. And then we do a series, which is the clean version of Working Class Bowhunter, called Working Class on Deercast, which goes out every Monday on Jury Outdoors Deercast. So there's a lot there, but that's the quick like umbrella blanket. Here's what's going on with us version.
It's a good thing you guys have an intern to help with all that.
And we have an intern. We have a
How
new
many of you
intern.
guys are doing that full time? Is it just you, Kurt, and or like how are you? How did you like convince everybody to jump on your bus with you as you make this trek across the deer country?
So I'm full time. Eric's part time. Eric's gonna go full time here very soon. Doug has like probably the best job of all of us. So if we can get Doug to go full time, then
We're doing something.
Then we sold out hardcore.
Oh shit!
We're all retiring that,
but no, I mean, there's a lot of angles to Working Class Bowhunter behind the scenes besides like just like the podcast stuff. Our online store has been very successful. Thanks, Eric is our store manager. I don't know if you want to talk about the online store.
No, I mean, it started from the ground up. I had no fucking idea. Coming from a welding background, I didn't know how to run a store or nothing, and just over the years that, you kind of, as you go, you learn everything just like anything else, so in the beginning it was very tough and very hard to run a store, but now I got it dialed into where it runs very smoothly. And I think even Doug could run it at this point. So
it's a well-oiled machine.
Any idiot could run it now like Doug.
That's right.
Building systems.
Thank you, Eric. Those kind words.
You're welcome.
But that's what we're doing. That's like that's the blanket version of Working Class Bowhunter.
No, I dig it. I've been to the shoot many years ago. I feel like it was many years ago. I don't know.
2018, I think.
When was that?
I think it was 2018.
I think that's about right. Yeah, it was before I got my truck. So it would have been 2018. So I got that in 2019. I remember I just put new tires on my GMC Terrain. I was like, we're going to go to Illinois. And we went and dude, putting on events is hard. We put on an event called Foam Fest, and we did it once last year. We're doing it again this year, and it's a lot of work. Everything that we do is a lot of work. It's more work than I think people can comprehend or realize. Not comprehend. I just mean it like I don't think on the onset of someone listening to a podcast realizes how much actually goes into it. And I have to imagine with all the things you guys have going on, there is a ton of work that goes into that stuff. So like you really put the work in Working Class Bowhunter at this point, So
thank you for saying that, because a lot of people think now that where you have more of an established name that we're not working class anymore. So I appreciate you.
I wanted to.
You got to keep bringing it, and as soon as
you
sit back on your hands, you're not bringing it anymore. So
that's right.
You have to keep up. Just because it might not be physical work, there's a lot of mental work, and you got to keep respinning it and adding something to it every year. You can't just stay the same all the time. People will lose interest. There's some things you can keep the same, because people appreciate having some normalcy to it. But
Yeah.
You also got to add a new wrinkle every once in a while.
Yeah, I like that. I like the way you put that. That's cool. A new wrinkle every once in a while. Like, I just feel that we were very passionate about hunting, right? And we're passionate about what we do. We're passionate about podcasting. We're not nerds, but we're kind of like trying to be.
We're redneck nerds.
A little more redneck nerds. We don't really always look like hunters. I don't think I look like a hunter, honestly.
What does a hunter look like in your opinion?
Well, you know what I mean, like camo hat, boots. like when we walk around a trade show, it's like no one thinks that we look the least like hunters versus everybody else there, really, in my opinion. But we have our own vibe, man, and we're honest about it, and anything goes on our show, and I think that's why we've got some traction since the beginning, and that's what I think is our strongest quality, you know.
We talk about on our end, you know, we try to be relatable, you know, to the broader community of hunting. But I think you guys, I think a number of folks relate with you because you are, I don't want to say brash, but you guys do bring this, like, I don't know, like come as you are kind of vibe. But that come as you are is like you're going to challenge the status quo in some degree, and in doing so, like a lot of the blue collar working class folks, like they'll mouth off to their supervisor, like, you know, fuck you, Al, I'm going to do it this way. You know what? Like the rough around the edges. And
Yeah.
I think there's something to that when then that person then relates to what you guys are doing, because you're like, everyone's done it in deer hunting this way for the last decade. And then you guys show up to the scene, you're like, that's all fine. We're not like hating on that, but we're going to do it our way. And I think your way has resonated with a very, very wide audience, which is why you've had the growth that you've had. You guys are pretty damn big. Like, you guys get a lot of downloads, a lot of viewership, a lot of attention. You guys go to trade shows. You are one of the biggest, like, booths at that trade show, right next to the other biggest booth, which is Whitetail Adrenaline. Like, it doesn't get much bigger than that in the whitetail category. And so, but I've watched, dude, I've come up to you guys at trade shows, and I've watched people come up and compliment you for keeping it real, for being who you guys are. And like, you're getting down on your knee and talking to kids and signing hats and stuff like that. Like, you're still exactly who you are. So anyone that's hating on Working Class for like arriving, get out of here. You know, you're just jealous. They're just jealous.
Well, Eric, I appreciate you saying that, dude.
Yeah,
a lot. Like that's one of the bigger compliments I think you can get in what we do. But you know, we're just who we are, and you know, but we're also entertainers too. And like lately, especially like in this off season, we're out of the off season. We talked about it on the episode when you guys were on our show, how we got out of like the lull of content creators in the outdoor industry. It's like people now after July 4th are getting excited again. And we kind of use that time to be a little more on the entertaining side with our conversation. So, and I say it a lot on times, and like, I'm thankful that I have Eric as a partner and Doug as a partner and our crew and all the other guys that make up Working Class Bowhunter, that kind of like, we all fit the vibe in our own way. Like the chemistry between our crew is something that it doesn't just happen. A lot of luck plays into have our chemistry.
Oh yeah.
We're all our own individual person, but we all vibe together. Like we're all different, but we all get along, and we all can lean in to each other's qualities. Like I'm the guy that will say a lot of shit that I don't fully believe in for an entertainment purpose, but I'm transparent when I say something that I might not fully believe it. But what it does is that spews like great conversation off me kind of being an ass at points to get reaction off of my buddies that are on the show with me.
Right.
Which is kind of fun to do. Like
It's
you're
fun.
the
Keeps the conversation
He
going.
really likes it.
Hey,
So he's really good at it. You know, you really like doing it.
I say a lot of things that
Stir the pot. Let's just say that.
well, but it's fun. It makes people think about things. It's great conversation.
Oh, 100%.
I know
Not saying
one
it's
day
bad.
I'm gonna have to go full Kid Rock and be like, yeah, fuck you guys, I'm uncancelable, just to like,
Yeah.
like I'll never be able to run for anything in politics. That's for sure. But we're just having a good time, man. That's all. That's it. That's
No,
what we're having a good
that's
time.
what you need. That's what you need to do. And I think that's what we all look like. If you could bottle up deer camp, I think you guys embody a lot of what I would put in a bottle for deer camp, to be quite frank. You know, I think we think the same thing about ourselves to some degree, but our deer camps are different. And I think that's kind of an interesting point, is that every deer camp has its nuances, has its traditions, has its things. But at the end of the day, they're all deer camp. you go to and you come to expect certain things out of it. Like I introduced Malort to our deer camp last year. That was a terrible idea.
That's a Chicago thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It tastes like shit.
I was like, hey guys, whoever doesn't fill a tag is drinking Malort. Well, no one Malort.
It's like, isn't Malort like a mixture of all sorts of shit?
It's terrible. It's
dirty diapers,
it's
rotten
wormwood.
potatoes, and I don't know what else.
It's disgusting. So like everyone's like, dude, I hate you. What? And I think we forgot the bottle at the cabin that we VRBO, so it's still there. So
we did shots of Malort at the Illinois Deer Classic this year.
Oh no,
was that good, huh?
I mean, no, it's not good. But if people are doing shots, we're down.
I've never even heard of that.
We did.
You haven't heard?
We
of
all
it?
did it. Me and Austin did. I have documented footage. Chris J has me on film taking a shot of Malort.
Does it have booze in it?
Yeah,
not very much.
It's like sock water.
Did I do one?
You'd remember it. You'd remember it. It's disgusting.
Maybe I would. Maybe I would.
If I did a shot of Malort,
yeah,
you did a shot of
yeah,
Malort.
for sure. You're right.
Yeah, it's not good.
Malort. Isn't that a Chicago thing?
It is. It's like you drink it because it's bad, but some people actually genuinely like it. And
you have one buddy
who
must have no taste buds that likes that.
Stay away from those people.
Yeah,
get new friends if they like that shit.
It's liquid CWD in a bottle.
They're like, it's not that bad. I'm like, you're a psychopath. That's what that is. So we're gonna
serial killer.
That's the guy that's going bow hunting with an air gun.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Sorry, I don't know if we can cuss on your podcast.
Yeah,
not too late.
They're all marked.
Okay, good.
We don't take any liberties.
Eric ripped a hard F-bomb, our Eric, and I'm like, ooh, all right, yeah, we're saying the F word. Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even notice.
People squeamish, and it is what it is. We mark it explicit. We cover our tracks, and at the end of the day, if you can tolerate it, great. If you can't, I'm sorry. We are who we are. We have to be who we are and be comfortable with that.
That's right. Sorry.
So I don't know. Talk about like you guys have all these isms. You guys have wage brain, shoot your bow. You can't shoot a big buck if your wife sucks. Like what else? How did you guys like? It's just because you talk on a podcast so frequently, these things kind of bubbled up to the top, or like talk about some of the things you have that speak to who you guys are and how people like associate.
I think most of our isms just came from Kurt just spewing random shit. I mean, that's where it came from.
Yeah, a lot of it is, but a lot of it is that. Yes, right. It's me being that like asshole that I don't like. Someone gave me a name. It's kind of like, you know how Eminem have Slim Shady.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
So I kind of have that vibe sometimes with the podcast for entertainment value. Someone said a listener wrote and said, call him Bert. Instead of Kurt, it's Bert. Oh, Bert. Oh, it's Bert talking.
There you go.
There you go.
And I'll say that. And I need to just get to the point where I have confidence in it. Because a lot of times I'll be like, okay, I'm about to say some shit. And I don't fully believe in it because I'm saying it for entertainment value. But I might like half believe it. So I just need to like be confident with it. And be like, all right, Bert's talking. But yeah, a lot of it is just like me talking shit and being funny or fun and just like devil's advocate, kind of like creating fun conversation for the cause of just entertainment value. And then some of it comes from like Austin, you can't trip into a 150.
Yep.
It takes a little bit of effort, he said. You know,
sometimes we're just hanging out and then I don't know, someone will just say something. You're just like,
Put that on a shirt.
I'm like, hey,
that's
a great t-shirt idea.
Yeah.
So then I throw it at our graphic designer guy and he comes up with it, and all of a sudden we have a fucking t-shirt.
And Eric's very good at like getting on that, like
grabbing on it.
Yeah.
Well, like Dana Pace, he's one of our resident shed hunting guys we have on the show a lot.
Yep.
He said, man, I found a shed, but it was in a damn squirrel patch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, squirrel patch? Oh, we know exactly what that is. So
we know what it
we all
is.
found those.
So we have a shirt. Well, he said fucking squirrel patch, but we changed it to damn squirrel patch for a shirt. So we have a damn squirrel patch shirt, but it's our logo with a chew out of the G2.
And a squirrel all chewing it.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah, we have the same. We have a similar shoe. It just says shed hunter, but it's a squirrel eating our antler logo.
yeah. So it's just
It ripped us off, I see.
You'll be hearing from us.
You'll be hearing from our lawyer.
You guys don't have a lawyer yet. Take it.
We have an intern.
We do have a lawyer.
We have an intern though.
But it's the isms just come organically,
aboard.
man. I think that's the best way to do it. If you sit around and try and think of them, they might be good, but they're never going to be as organic as they are
when they just come flying off your tongue with a little bit of confidence fluid in you.
But your community is so
exactly.
strong that like your listeners know what you're talking about, and the fact that you're able to not able to, but like the fact that you sell merch that is the things that are intrinsically you guys. It's not something else. That's like pretty powerful. You know.
I appreciate you saying that because that is also like one of the greater compliments I think we could ever get. And one thing I will say, man, like we might not have the biggest following, but we have a very dedicated following, and we're very fortunate to have that. I will tell you that, like, if our following has to go to war with another following, we're gonna win.
It's not gonna be good
because we got some bad motherfuckers that listen to our show, like blue collar dudes, steel workers, truck drivers, welders. Like, we're just lucky, man. Like, that's it. It couldn't have panned out any better for us, and we're just super thankful for it. So I do appreciate you saying that, man. I really do.
It's noticeable though. Like, that's kind of like you guys have. I say the word community. It's interesting because, like, I in college, I remember learning about the word culture, and it was the professor's like, you can't define this word. I was like, watch me. And then she's right, because she's smarter, because she's a professor and I'm an idiot. You can't define culture without using the word, because every single culture is vastly different. And that's what makes it a culture. Like, you guys have created a culture within a culture, and I think that's pretty awesome because it felt needed. That's why it was able to happen. Like, there was a white space that you guys were able to fill. And I'm not saying if it wasn't you guys, it'd have been someone else, but I don't think it would have been. Like, I don't know that anyone would have filled it the way you guys did. I mean, even
I think eventually it would have happened, man. But I feel like everybody kind of fills their own space and in the culture of hunting, right? Like, there's always these subcultures, and everybody kind of finds their lane. And one thing that you did say that I want to thank you again for the compliment is, like, like some of our isms are within our content, like, and they have to find it in that. It's like, one thing I am proud of that we do is that, like, our content, like, we're not modifying our content to be something that's not. Like, we've always just gave you what we do and what we are. Like, we're not doing something to get cheap interaction, if that makes sense. Like, we're who we are. If you don't like it, then don't like it.
Yeah, and if you don't, that's fine. Like, people don't have to like everything. You can't please everybody. Right. You're not gonna. That's right. So if you do what you do, like, people are gonna buy into it, and then, like, those are your people. That's why you have a good audience. This is why, like, you have the ride or dies, or whatever you want to call them, blood in, blood out. Like, people that subscribe to Working Class, like, they but I don't listen to hardly anything. Like, I listen to audiobooks by and large, and then usually it's actually recently about parenting. But when I listen to podcasts, there's a handful that I tune into, and I enjoy your guys' podcasts quite a bit. And I've actually been listening on YouTube because I enjoy watching it. That's been a new thing with the way. I don't know how long you guys have been doing it that way, but I've enjoyed watching it. Like, you guys had Huntworks on, who just changed his name to Unnotched. You guys had what's his freaking name? Jacoby.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a whitetail guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tapped into the TikTok guys for a minute there in the off season.
Crowd, dude. I've been really getting fed a lot of TikTok conspiracy stuff because I find it highly entertaining. I'm not, like, buying into it, but I love the conspiracy stuff.
The entertainment value is high.
It's just really high. Like, the lady freaking on the airplane, and they think that she's
I got into that one recently.
Man, conspiracies just eat me up.
Eric, by the way, thanks for listening to us on our worst platform. Right? You look at our YouTube numbers, you're like, who the fuck are these idiots?
Yeah. We should cancel the podcast.
Yeah, like, I'm 2 days away from deleting our YouTube.
Hey, we gotta thank our listeners.
You think TikTok's bad? Go on YouTube and watch the comments pour in. YouTube is like a whole different freaking machine and beast. Like,
not us, bro. No one sees our YouTube.
Oh man, like, we got antis that see our YouTube, and I'm like, get Susie out of the comments. Susie, get the fuck out of here from California. What are you doing in here?
Susie,
I don't even know how you tripped into this.
Dude,
bro, I killed a fucking giraffe and didn't get a single death threat.
Yeah.
Dude, we're hoping to make it on CNN. I'm like, dude, Eric slaughtered this innocent giraffe. I'm like, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that in anything, but, like,
I got more shit for it than you did.
Eric,
you probably had enough people saying it already.
Well, Doug kills a bear and gets more shit on social media.
On me everywhere.
Eric kills a giraffe and nobody cares. But
no one gives a fuck.
I'm borderline. I'm gonna revamp our YouTube, dude. I'm gonna put some reels up that just say, like, poacher kills giraffe.
There you go. Everybody will be on that one.
Redneck.
No, but whatever. Like, so actually, what I want to ask you, because, like, I have a really hard time not going the business route, because I'm probably more passionate about business than whitetails, and it's a close 1-2, like, depending on the time of year. But one thing that I was curious about, like, Kurt, you have been doing, and your crew has been doing more, like, big game hunts, Western hunts, so forth. And, like, you had a video drop where, like, you had some altitude sickness kind of sink in. Like, what has that been like, being the working class guy from the flatland of Illinois? No offense. to these mountainous regions where like now you guys are in a totally different element. You're in Africa, you're in, I don't know, Montana, Wyoming, wherever you're going. Like, what has that been like? And how has that been to navigate as the working class guys that you talked about, where people are like hating on you? Like, talk about work. You want to talk about work? Let's talk about work. Let's talk about freaking hunting in the mountains for example. Like, what has that been like for you guys, A, personally, and B, from a business standpoint?
First of all, from a business standpoint, just from a branding look, we'll just tackle that part first. We have talked about every step of the process on how to get there, how we did it, everything all the way through. So people want to hate on us for going to Africa, for example. Kill the giraffe. You must have money to. No, we talked about all of that in our content. How much it costs, how we did it. We put on a clinic when we're so passionate about Africa, our entire crew. We hosted a clinic after we went in February, and we had about 80 people attend. We had a 43% book rate from that clinic to go to Africa. We put together special hunt pricing. We showed how possible it really is to do these things in your life. And we're like, you know, my dad passed away a couple years ago. And since that, we've been on a fucking tirade. Experience life at the fullest. And our whole crew has done that. And full-heartedly believe that and I'm passionate about it. This stuff is possible. It's how bad do you want to get there? So if your goal is to kill an elk, okay, you can go do that. You can go elk hunting. What goal do you have in that process? You want to go to Africa? Here's how to do it. If we've done it, we've talked about how we got there. So anyone that wants to hate on that, first and foremost, doesn't really follow our content, because if you did, we guide you through how we did it, or we turned around and made an opportunity to make it easier for you to get there to go with us.
Well, and not only that, but we've been talking about doing these hunts since we started this podcast, before we started this podcast. And guess what? We just started doing these hunts 4 years ago. You know, that's when we really dove into it, you know, so it's been 4 years before that we were talking about it, or even before that. So it's like, it might not happen overnight, but these goals are, you can do it.
You can follow our library and see how we've gone about it. So I just wanted to cover that full transparency, because people see our name and then see we went to Africa and then automatically assume Jim Shockey money. And I quickly realized
if someone like, oh, you're the Okayest hunter, you're only supposed to shoot spikes. So heaven forbid we shoot something larger than a spike. Like, that's not the message.
Well, Tidbit, listen to our episode, because that's what we cover with you guys. Like, and I'm so glad that we covered that with you guys, because it kind of, for me, it opened a new light to your branding.
Yeah, and we did the antler logo because it's different, and we wanted to draw some attention in. Like, literally no other brand in hunting has a fucking 6-inch antler for their logo. Different. That's all that is. It's meant to pull your attention in. So
that's the business side to cover that. Like, we've laid it out, you know. So I hope that answers the business side of that question.
I'm glad you did, because you know, it doesn't feel achievable for a lot of folks. Like, it feels out of reach. It feels like out of space. Things are expensive. I got to fly there. I got to fly meat back. I got to drive. There's so many layers of like logistics that go into that. But when you break it down Barney style, and you guys are showing that as a working class hunter, you can do this hunt, that's something special. And I think if like the positioning is, as a working class hunter, you can do these things, that changes the dynamic a little bit. It's not, you're working class, you should be able to do it. No, you're working class, you can do it.
Not that bad.
Well, not only can you go one time, if you do it working class style, you're going to go 4 times.
Exactly.
And we're going to break that down for, you know, don't go over there and think you're like, you see Jim Shockey, right? When we think Africa, Midwest guys growing up, you think Jim Shockey, Africa, you see all the shit he kills.
Well, and I want to stop you right there, because I thought that at one point, 100%, because I never actually, like, would I love to go hunt Africa? Absolutely. I never fully looked into it. I never did my homework. I'm just thinking, shit, it's going to be $30,000 to go over there and hunt.
You stereotyped it.
I stereotyped it 100%.
Yeah, you think of like what Safari Club International, like, I got to go bid on this with an auctioneer present at an event. And like, I'm a business owner that makes millions a year. And
it's going to run up as high as it can, because all that money's going to conservation.
And I'm just a dumbass. I never looked into it. So, and then actually once we looked into it, I'm like, this is totally doable.
It's not bad at all.
Well, we'll tell you this, and any of your listeners, guys that are listening, if you guys really want to go to Africa and you want to see like if it's possible, and you can take your wife with you and she'll have a great experience,
My wife didn't want to come home.
That's most of the interaction. But if you guys want to go and bring your wife and whatever, and want to just get some information, that's it. Just reach out to us, and I guarantee we'll get you the best price with the best guy you could ever go with.
100%.
I will say that with so much confidence that if you get a hold of us, you'll be in the best hands. You'll pay the best price, and you'll have the best fucking experience you could have, man. It was full throttle fun from the time we landed to the time we left.
There's never a dull moment ever.
It was.
We talk a lot about blazing trails and adventure, like going to a foreign country like that and seeing exotic animals like that. That is an uncharted territory for most of us. Like I can't even comprehend what that could be like. And
imagine, Eric, having that
even the smells. Like, can you describe the smells you had? You know,
dude, it's
like it, right?
The smell. I do. I don't know if you've ever been to another country, Eric, but like
that's why I say the smells, because that is one of the signifying things of being with somewhere different. Is that
yes.
Wow.
Like I've been to Brazil, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Canada.
They all have their smell.
They all have their it's part of the experience, right?
You ever been to Clinton, Iowa?
When you you ever been to Clinton, Iowa? When you land in Johannesburg, it has a smell. But when you get out of Johannesburg and you get into, like, I guess the bush, as they'd say, like, one, it's great, it's amazing,
it's uncharted.
The whole thing, dude. It's just one of those things. Once you do it, you'll be so glad you did it. And I've been thinking about Africa. It's been about a year since we went, and I've been thinking about it. I think about it every single day. Yeah. Every single day since we've been, I think about Africa.
Every day.
I'm not,
especially now, because
the people there are so different too. Like you're supporting a community by taking that animal. You can't bring that meat back home. Like you can't do much with it. So then, like, it serves to like support a community there. And the people there are so different than the people here. I've been to third world. How do you say it? Third world country.
Yep.
Dude, shit's different in third world countries. It is different. And if you get
and that's what a lot of people. That's what a lot of people don't understand about Africa is, like, these animals. They are their income over there. So, like, if these animals didn't have a price on them, which is kind of bad to say, but it's true over there.
Well, they have value.
They have value.
Yeah.
These animals wouldn't be around at all because they would have no value.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
It does.
But did you get to eat some of it while you were there, though? Like, did you guys get to cook some shit?
Yeah, we had one of everything that we shot.
Yep.
What did you like the most? What was the most?
Say sable or waterbuck was the best.
Yeah, waterbuck was really good.
We ate some of the giraffe, and then everything else we didn't eat got donated to an orphanage in the area.
Yep. What's the so like sage buck? You say like sage is a spice.
Waterbuck.
My bad.
Sable.
Oh yeah, I'm okay. So I'm just making up words.
It's part of the antelope family.
Sable, they're all part of the antelope family. Sable is really good. Waterbuck, what I found was the most interesting. So they kind of explained it to us. I did research, about waterbuck, and it's like they're kind of known to have like a swampy type vibe, like waterbuck. Like when you hear the name, you kind of think like, oh, that might taste a little swampy. It's a big misconception. Really good. We had all the steaks we had cooked just like you would here in the States, medium rare. They made like a sausage pepper gravy.
Yeah.
Oh.
You drizzle over it, and dude,
I'm not gonna lie, the food over there is fucking outrageous.
So we ate like kings, man.
I want to go back right now just to eat.
Yeah, me too.
I would.
I wouldn't give a shit if I could kill anything.
The cultural nature of eating food is like really
it's all part of the
experience culture through food. Like, but in certain cultures, you have to be in the culture to then also experience the food. Like, if you went to like Maine, you're gonna have a better experience eating some like
lobster
than you're gonna have in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
How many lobsters are in Lake Michigan?
Right? You know what I mean?
There ain't none.
Yeah, exactly. So it like
turns out
it's not fresh, not caught that same day. Like I remember when I fished in like Key West, for example, we took the same fish from our charter, brought it to a bar, and they blackened our food right in front of us that we just chopped up. And that was incredible because we just caught that fish that day out of the ocean. You don't have that experience here in the Midwest. People talk about, oh, sushi. Yeah, sushi's so good.
Sushi, oysters.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not the same.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway.
I answered probably half your question there, but if you ever get an opportunity to go to Africa, please do it.
Just do it.
You will remember it forever, and you'll be so thankful you did it, man.
It sucks getting there, but once I mean,
That adds to the fun of it, though,
does add
man.
to the fun of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It sucks once you're there. You're like, I'm glad it sucked
Doug spilled a whole Coke on Kurt on the airplane.
on the way
Like,
home.
how is that not?
Was he, but was he a real person?
No, he's not real.
Yeah, but you are not real. I'm sorry, I can't let go of
He
that.
blinked instead of blinking like this. He blinked this way.
Did he blink normal? He's
Yeah.
not a lizard man.
He blinked sideways like a lizard. It was weird.
Stuff on TikTok.
Like a lizard.
Oh,
I got lost there.
that's crazy. So what about like altitude sickness out west? Like, I don't know if it was altitude sickness, but other than just sucking wind in like high altitude, that's got to be difficult. Like, I think I just ran 10 miles today for the first time in my entire human life, and it felt pretty difficult. And I'm a little out of like sorts today.
I think you're probably referring to that campfire story I did with the Chase Nation guys.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, because it seemed like shit. Yeah, that was like difficult.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, there's a video in there where I'm kind of like going through some shit. I think more mentally than I was physically. And I showed these guys that video. I'm like, man, I kind of want to show this video because it shows me being vulnerable, but I never posted it. And you guys are like, you should show that. And
You should.
that's one video that I did give to those guys to put in that like docu series that they do called Campfire Stories, which I think is a beautiful series that they do. But I sent them that video, and I'll be honest, I kind of regrettably sent it to them. Like I was like, fuck, I don't know if I want me being a pussy like out on there.
Because you're human. You're a fucking human. You live in Illinois.
It's still you though, dude. Like,
on the mountains in Illinois, like, there's only so much you can do to train there. You know.
That's right. And I trained more for my archery than I did my physical ability. Like, but also like, it's not that I wasn't like not in shape. Like, it was just brutal, and I went hard. The first couple stalks I had, I put it all in. I didn't leave anything in the tank, and it screwed me. And now knowing more and spending more time in that country, I would completely do it way different. But I'm glad it happened the way it did. Just learn a lot. It's tough. The elevation's a different game. We camped up there, so I never got a break from it of being like high up on top.
It takes time to acclimate to that stuff, and if you don't have that, like you're acclimating as you're hunting, so it's tricky.
And I did get there like 2 days before we even started hunting to just kind of be in the higher elevation. Now I wasn't at, 10,500, 11,000 foot the whole time, but I was at, whatever the base elevation is when you're out in Western Wyoming.
so it's still way higher than here.
Still way higher than here. We're 400 to 600 foot here. I don't know what they are at their base, but our base camp was like 10.4, 10.5. I killed my buck at 11.1. So yeah, that's tough. It takes a lot of, you have to have your, mental toughness kind of has to be on par a little bit there. But it was a great experience, man. Like, I would never trade it. I'm glad it happened exactly the way it did. I wouldn't go back on it at all to be like, oh, I wish this would have happened instead of this. Like everything that sucked should have sucked, Yeah.
Craig's done some interesting things with the Beast Mode Archery crew where he's done some workouts with them. And I think you had a hernia.
Yeah, I ended up getting a hernia after I heaved up. I think it was a 40-pound sandbag after running a bunch. So you would do reps of beating the shit out of yourself and then go shoot your bow, take your shots, go back to beating the shit out of yourself, do your running, do your burpees, do your grab of the sandbag to throw it on your shoulder and take off. And that's when I felt that rip and like a real burning sensation, right in my lower torso. And it wasn't pretty. I ended up going to one more class and muscling through it. And I just happened to be taking a shower and I looked down. Looks like there's a golf ball under my skin. That doesn't look right on the left side. The left side looks way more swollen than the right. And I just kind of pushed on it real hard with my finger. And I'm like, wow, I better go see the doc for it. So I got in and they're like, yep, classic hernia, surgery. What are you planning on doing? And of course, this is September. And I'm like, dude, bow season's here. Can I put it off till after? Well, you really shouldn't. But yeah, I guess you have to. Yeah, so I made it through bow season, and then I think COVID ran through my house, so I had to put the surgery off another month. That's just when they could get me in, and I got it done like in spring, right before turkey season last year. So
Damn,
yeah, and then back out and killed a couple birds. So that was good.
my man. Damn,
Crazy. So
but
like
they're good popping out.
there's the mental side, but there's the literal physical side.
Yeah,
You're supposed to keep the toothpaste in the tube. It ain't back in.
I've talked about it on the podcast. I've been doing these, whatever, dude. People are doing these ice baths, and I think that's neat. I'm not against it. I don't have enough money to buy an ice bath, and I certainly don't think I could crawl my way into one of those every single morning. But I do take a cold shower every morning, and I do it not because of all the other bullshit that everyone talks about. I've talked about this before. I do it because in the amount of mental of my brain saying, "Don't do this." Today's not the day for a cold shower, Eric. You can do a hot shower and it feels great. You need to turn that dial. And it's at that precise moment my brain's saying, don't do this thing. And I say, fuck you, brain. And I turn it to cold and I deal with the pain. Because it's very unpleasant. Taking a cold shower is not fun. You want to jump out. And I do it for at least a minute or 2 minutes, depending on the day. And then it's a whole nother conversation. My brain, like, might do 1 minute? Are you a pussy? Are you gonna do 2 minutes? You little bitch. Like, what are we gonna do? And but then I like will do that, and it's interesting to like mentally say I'm in charge here of the body. The brain is in charge of the body. The body is in discomfort. And the body's trying to say, nah, bruh, you don't got to do this hard stuff. Just take it easy. You live in 2023. You don't got to be taking cold showers anymore. You don't got to run 10 miles. You don't got to run anywhere for life. You can take a car. And I just keep telling my brain, let's do hard stuff because that's uncomfortable. And if I do hard stuff, I make one hard decision and everything else that day is easier. Work is easier. Parenting is easier. Everything else is easier.
Parenting is easier when you're shivering like a dog shitting fish hooks.
Yeah, the cold shower is nothing compared to when my kids are for me. But like, if I consider going out west, I don't have a good way to train for high altitude stuff. I'm gonna put on
and no one does.
There's a lot of. Here's the thing: a lot of people are not going to agree with this. Sometimes you just got to go.
Yep. You got to do it.
And then you just go and you struggle and it makes the best memories. Of course, if you could be more prepared, do that however you see fit. But don't like I think a lot of people be like, I'm not in shape for that.
You can only be so much in shape. You're never gonna be perfect. Just like you said, I think you do need to just go. You just need to do it.
I mean, even for bear camp our first year, like I'm not in the best shape ever in my life. I'm like, I'll be okay.
Yeah,
it can't be that bad. And that trip kicked my ass. I'm not gonna lie.
For that mule deer hunt specifically, I knew I wasn't gonna be a Trey Heiner, which is our good buddy that lives out there. That's a mountain goat, and I knew I wasn't gonna be that guy. But I said I'm going to what I lack in physical ability and conditioning, I'm going to make up for in archery. So I can't get within 20 yards of this mule deer because I'm not be the most physically fit, or my lungs might not be conditioned for the elevation. But where I will make up for that is my ability to shoot a deer in the lungs. And I said that my motto that year was, and I said at the beginning of the summer, and you can go back and listen to our library, is that I'm shooting my bow like I'm training for a fight. And honestly, that's what made that hunt successful for me. I shot my bow like I was training for a fight. And that's what I did. So if you can help it, take one weakness and add a strength on another, and it might work out for you. Not always. Mm-hmm. And a little bit of luck, you can come out with what you feels impossible. When you see a mule deer on the other canyon, you go, fuck, I got to get over there. That's a long way, and it's really steep. A lot, up and down, a lot on the way over there. Maybe you can cut some distance off that by being able to shoot really fucking good.
But like Eric said, like he was like, I don't even know how to be prepared for this. No one does. No, you can never prepare yourself enough to go on that hunt.
You just go for it, dude.
Just go for it. Like a bear hunt's the easiest hunt you can do, and it still kicked my ass. But like,
it's not the easiest hunt you can do. Not out west.
No, but you're getting your feet wet. You just got to go do it.
Here's the thing. It's sorry, Greg. Go ahead.
Everything's earned out west with the altitude, the terrain. Everything is earned, and like you said, if you can figure out a way to build the one strength at least to give you that much more of an edge. Yeah, you can't climb as good in altitude without sucking wind, and elevating your heart rate to the point where your head feels like it's going to explode when you pull your bow back. But maybe you can just catch your breath enough and feel super confident pulling back, settling in, and getting good anchor and really seeing your pin and seeing that animal. If you're practicing that, I mean, you're light years ahead of, I think, a lot of people just getting that practice in.
For sure. And this might sound fucked up, but
oh boy,
maybe it's a flavor of Bert coming out.
I was gonna say we got Bert and Kurt.
Hey, Bert.
But I had a drastic change in my life before I went, and that can either sink you or you can turn it around and motivate you. And I will tell you that I was teetering very hard on sinking, but I chose to take that like emotional, I don't know what the word is, dick punch. That's what I chose of all the words I could have picked. 2 words. Turned it into like really trying to live my life like right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying I maybe have toned off that with life because I have kids and life and things happen. But if you look at from the time my father passed away until now, Chaboy went on a tirade. Like I just went on a fucking tirade of like crazy stuff for like a year and a half. Yeah. I went on every hunting trip I could. I told everybody like, fuck off. I'm doing what I want to do. Like I just kind of like, I went crazy a little bit and crazy into what I thought my dad would want me to go crazy about.
So that's a special time in your life, man. I think
it's fucked up a little bit, probably.
No, I would say no, absolutely not effed up at all. I think emotionally to process that it's one thing. And then, think about this is not even a close comparison. Like it's not even, so don't think that's what I'm doing here. I say this to say like, think about a breakup. You break up with a girl and all you can do is like, go meet another girl or do 1,000 things that have nothing to do with that thing, with that relationship. And so in the sense of like your dad passes away, I don't know how any of us know how to process that. Like Jake Bush lost his dad, you lost yours, like in like the hunting community, I'm thinking of people that I know of that have lost their father. And I can't even come close to comprehending what that would do to me. It would shake my soul. And because, my dad is the one that got me into all of this, all of it, every single bit of it. That is the man that I go to, look up to, have learned from, have followed into all of the stuff. And if he's gone, I don't know, that like I lose a part of my identity then. And if that happens, you're kind of like, grappling for some sense of identity through that human. And if they're not there and you're thinking about what they would say or do or want you to say or do, yeah, I think you'd go deep into it, hardcore, like you did. And I think that was the absolute right move. But I hear you when you say you're teetering, because that could either totally wreck you because you don't have that person anymore, or you could totally go the other direction and say, like, because I don't have you, I need to do this to not, not do it in vain, so to speak, right? Like, I need to make it worth it because you would be proud of me if you were still here, That's and then you add kids into it, and that's a whole nother mix. Like, that's a whole different equation.
To be clear, honestly, what you did, I think it'd be respected, bro. Like, I think if like a lot of people went through that situation, they come across like our podcast, like people could relate to that, because
it's gonna happen to us.
It's gonna happen to all of us. Like, it just happened to you first.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but at the same time, like
we're all gonna go through it. That's a bummer about getting in your like 30s, dude. Your late 30s, you're pushing 40. It's like everyone you grew up with is getting old and dying.
Well, and it's such a bummer to see. And they are like, us, Doug and I sitting here, we see your old man pass away. That makes us realize like we don't have that much time left. We might not.
Yeah, you never know.
Yep. I think it's respected, dude. Don't like put yourself down on being reckless or anything. No, it's fucking respected.
Well, the only reason why like I stayed in line the way I did, I have a great family and I have great friends, and I have supportive family and supportive friends. If I didn't have that, like, and I'm passionate about what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. You could, if you didn't have that support system, I think a lot of us would have gone to
there is or whatever. No way I would be a functioning human right now.
Yeah.
And like straight up, like when I talked to my dad on my way to work when I worked at John Deere. My dad was a really big name in the waste management industry. My dad would like get headhunted to like manage like landfills all over the country. So when my dad was going to work and I was going to work, we talked every morning. During hunting season, we'd talk every morning. We'd strategize. That's all our conversations were. Hunting, what are we doing? Where are we going? How are we doing it? Where are we hanging the set? That, like every day. And then all of a sudden, gone. So for me, it was just I just got suplexed, you know? So, but yeah, if I didn't have this like structure system.
Talk about words we don't know, Kurt. I don't know what the fuck suplex means.
Suplex is when someone grabs you from the waist from behind and flips you over and you land on your neck.
Got it.
You go upside down.
We're talking wrestling moves
get
back
that
from the
Steve?
Stevie Moon days. Here we go.
I'm an old kickboxer MMA fan. So
all right.
You get suplexed, which is not a great time. Your shit just gets fucking, you're dizzy. You don't know what's up from down and you're all over the place. Right. So I just have a great support system of friends, family, and a good passion. If I didn't have that, dude, I'd probably be, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know.
I'm saying the same thing, dude. I talk to my old man every day.
Yeah.
Morning and night. Like, I mean, it's not.
I hope your dad lives to be 100, dude. You know, I hope everybody's dad and mom and dad would be 100.
My dad and I talk about the most is deer hunting. Like everything ties back to deer hunting. Like I don't outside
cherish
of that,
it, dude. I'd never wish that upon anybody, but it's I'll tell you, the better memories you make and the more conversations you have with your old man, especially, you know, your mom's too, but your old man, it normally hits different
when you're
right?
when you're a guy. Yeah, I'm
it's
sure.
Yeah.
You know, it's the man that you've mentored your being around.
Yep.
Just have great conversations, spend good quality time, and when he's gone, you will feel okay about it. Now, that being said, I think I could have another 20 years of cherished moments with my father and his grandson and his granddaughter. Yes, that really.
Dude, that's the part that I can't, like, I I'll start crying out loud on this show. Is
my wife was pregnant with my son Clyde when my dad passed away.
That's the part that can't. That's
yeah.
I'll never give that back.
I'll tell you a story that I don't like to tell, and then I want to get off the father. When my dad was on his deathbed, because I had time to like process it, and there's some hard decisions had to be made that I hope nobody ever has to fucking deal with. That still to this day kind of mind fucked me a little bit. When my dad was on his deathbed, incoherent, I guess would be the term. My wife is pregnant. Like my dad died in April. My son was born in July. So his second birthday is coming up. I put my dad's hand on Sam's stomach and I was like, it's a boy. I know it's a boy. And we didn't know the gender. And when Clyde was born, I saw his nuts and I freaked the fuck out, dude. But it was almost like, because I never met my grandfather. I never met my dad's dad. And when my son was born, I'm like, dude. So in my head, I have this mental mind fuck that I'm going to die before my son can have his son. Just the way, like generationally, it's happening. So I'm like, I'm not going to lie if it don't fuck with me a little bit.
It's a way to put things into some strange perspective. And
it is,
as a parent, you start to see the world differently. So like you have a certain viewpoint of your parents and you become a parent. Suddenly that viewpoint changes completely because you're like, well, I'm a parent and you are a parent. You were just a dude. You were just a fucking guy trying to do the best you could. Now I'm that guy doing the best I can. And now I'm thinking about like how you did things versus how I'm doing things. And it's an interesting perspective. And so for Father's Day this year, usually it's like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? I'm like, I don't want anything. I don't want a damn thing. I want
I already got everything.
Yeah, just hang with your fam. That's all you can ask for.
My kids. So I was like, let's get our kids a bow and arrow and let's get them some new fishing poles and let's spend the day shooting bows and catching fish. And that's what I want for Father's Day. I want to make memories. I don't want shit. And so I didn't get a damn thing, which I'm very grateful for because what I did get was my kids shooting archery and catching fish. And that was special. And that's why I love the outdoors and hunting because those are indelible memories that can't be replaced, that you're building legacy. So we talk about like people coming into the hunting industry and so forth. It's up to us to keep these kids into it and they look up to us. And
it's our responsibility now.
Yeah.
Yep. you're right, Eric. It totally changes when you have kids. I mean, I never even thought about like passing the hunting, the fishing, everything down. But you know, once that kid pops out, you're like, it's my time.
Yeah, it's more than me now. Like I'm not the center of the universe now. It's something different. And yeah, man, I don't know. Like there's some passage on the internet going around about if you're having a bad day with your kids and they're because don't get it twisted. Like I have my days where I'm like, you mother, I can't believe you piss in the garage floor today, or whatever the hell it is. Because there's always something.
Oh, yeah. There's always them days where you want to throw them out the window, but you don't.
But the message is, if let's just pretend you're 80 and you got to go back in time to today, whatever today is happening.
Right.
And that today is the day when your kid did that thing that like drove you crazy and you're like, boy, I'm going to backhand you or whatever the hell it is. You know, if you went back as an 80-year-old, your perspective is going to be vastly different. You're going to cherish all of that bad stuff and the good stuff. And you're going to take it all in as all good because
it's all good.
You'll give anything to have time with them.
That's the way I look at it now. Like, does my kid piss me off? Absolutely. Like,
he pisses me off.
Like, I piss my parents off 100%, but at the same time, like a half an hour later, like we're best friends, we're dancing around, we're having a good time. Like, yeah, it pisses me off, but at the same time, I don't want him to remember me as being pissed off all the time either.
Exactly. There's So anyway, you know, whatever that's worth. Like,
sorry to bring the house down.
No, it's all good because you guys have this message about go shoot your bow. Go shoot your bow. And I think I'm going to take that one step further and be like, go have your kids shoot their bow. What does that look like? Because I don't, shooting my bow and shooting a deer is great for me. But when it's my kids, that feels like I don't have to shoot my bow ever again as long as they're shooting theirs. You know, like that feels far more better than me shooting mine. Like I'd take any deer they'll get over any deer I'll get. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and so my dad last year got a buck the day after I shot my buck, not far down the road from where I shot my buck in Dousman, Wisconsin. And it was the only time in history the both of us had shot nice deer with our bows.
Is that the photo you guys have on your Facebook when you two together?
That is literally the photo of a fucking lifetime because all my kids are there. He's there. We both got deer. That's never, ever, ever happened.
Eric, do me a favor. Blow that motherfucker up and put it in the studio right where that bow's hanging below your TV.
It's a good idea. I ought to do that. I'll do that. Because that doesn't happen. No. It's not a thing. No. And, and the fact that like I was there, he was there for my recovery. So the reason the Okayest Hunter started, I talked about this on the Bear Archery podcast and probably a bunch of others is like, and I didn't say it on your guys, I apologize, but it was about me shooting a doe fawn as my first bow kill ever. But my dad happened to be there. And I didn't know it was a doe fawn until I walked up on it. I was like, oh, that's a pretty small doe. Easy drag. So that was great. Talk about the Okayest Hunter. But it was like my dad was there and he's like, hey, you finally did it. You got a deer with your bow. And I was 20, it was my daughter's, was 2017. So I would have been 31, 32, something like that. And so that was my first ever deer kill with a bow. And I could have felt 12 years old in that particular moment. And then when I got bashed for it, I was like, what? You got
bashed for it?
That was it. That was where it all started from. That's when the brand started right there. That was when that brand started. And I was like,
Doug. I didn't mean it.
Doug. Yeah, people are like, my dog's bigger than that. What's wrong with you? You killed Bambi. You're like, what the f are you thinking? Like, that's my first bow kill, That was a pretty special moment for me. And, my daughter had just literally been born like weeks prior. I put on the top of my SUV and with the tarp and strapped it down. I was pretty proud of the whole entire thing. Also knowing like I'm a grown man that just killed a doe fawn. You want to know what meat tastes really good?
Yeah, but dude, everybody's done that.
So that's kind of where it like started from, and I was like, what the fuck? Why am I getting shit for this? So that's when it kind of, and it didn't start as Okayest Hunter immediately. It started as like, I had all these ideas of like humble hunt. And I was like, well, there's some chick called Humble Hunter. So I'm like, that ain't it, and whatever. So that's where it came from. But like, this legacy that we're talking about, passing tradition down from dad to son, from grandpa to dad to son to daughter to whatever it is. Like that's why hunting is so damn important that the antis will never ever comprehend.
No, and it's a cultural thing, but too, it's like, man, what if my kids just aren't into it?
So
that's possible,
Yeah, I'm not going to force them. So far, they're doing pretty good.
Will that crush me? No.
No.
Like, I'll just hunt more. I'm kidding, but
More for me.
more. But you know, what do you do? It's a family affair normally. But you know, I don't know. What the fuck?
Hey, if they don't, you always got the boys.
Hey, I'm with you boys. Here's the thing. It's like hunting camp. I grew up with a hunting camp, a very unique hunting camp.
Yep.
I'm very fortunate. And that's what we're creating here. That's what you guys are creating there. And our kids are going to be able to come to the studio, and your kids are going to be able to come. Well, Eric's kids are going to be able to come to the studio. And Doug, if Doug ever accidentally, well, you probably have a few. We just got to figure out where they are. And then, like, this can be hunting camp, you know? Like,
Well, and that's like with my original hunting camp. I still want to take my kids down there when they do a hunting camp. They just do it with their families.
you
now.
still have access to it?
I mean, when they're hunting, like at night after the hunt gets over, we can still go down there. They still
Okay.
have a party every weekend. So,
Oh, I
Like-
didn't know that.
yeah. So I'm like, I still stop down there at least. It's always during second season, so it's both weekends. So
Yeah.
I usually try and stop down one Saturday every weekend just to,
Yeah,
I grew up there. That's where I cut my teeth at.
for sure.
Is it weird? Like, do you walk in? Does it like smell the same? And
Oh yeah, it's like at the
you
cabin
know,
on
camp
cabin
always
on
had like a
stilts.
smell or feel. And
It smells like plywood, dude. It's a cabin on stilts because the property floods.
oh,
So it's just plywood in there, and there's a wood stove with 4 kitchen tables where everyone played cards and drank beer, and like that was our childhood.
I want to do that.
I love that.
It's awesome.
My childhood camp was an old soils testing lab that we took over, and we just stayed in that. So yeah, it had smells.
It had smells.
Yeah,
I remember,
That's
like,
the thing that brings it back. It's the smell, though.
It is, you're right.
You
Eric-
walk into that cabin and you're like,
Well, Eric hit the nail on the head. He's like, "What it smell like?" It's like at first it's kind of like, "What do you mean?" Oh yeah, I know what he means.
yep,
You know,
got that smell, like Clinton, Iowa.
Clinton, Iowa. Don't ever go.
Greg came to our deer camp once, and our deer camp is interesting because I've recruited people to join our deer camp over the years. Now that I got people that are my friends that hunt, because a lot of them didn't. It was just me, and my dad that started it, and Greg cooked a pretty good freaking slow roasted meal for deer camp that one year you came, Greg. That was awesome. I keep trying to get him to come back here. He's like, nah, I don't know. I got other things to do around here. And I'm like,
That's a great impression.
That was a good-
Honestly, though, I mean,
Just missing the mustache.
right. Well, this year's situation was different. The only way I was keeping that permission is if I came back during rifle season, and
you had to do doe control.
I had to do doe control because he had over 40 deer coming into that field every night, and that's kind of a problem. And it turned out fine. I whacked 3 of them opening day. It's no big deal. But
You want to see some funny?
Not a
Watch
bad
you guys like our YouTube of the oak. What do we call it? The Okayest Hunter Show? Or We'll See How It Goes. Was our first season. Greg had some blunders with shooting a bow out of a blind.
yeah, it was bad. Didn't help that I drop tuned my bow on the basement floor and screwed up the cam and messed up a cable, and then I had to
It drop tuned.
yeah, drop tuned.
I did that on a mountain.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, you did.
It goes from a nice radius cam to a big flat spot in it, and the cable gets razored off, and now they got to order a new cam from the factory, and I don't know, it took like a week to get there, and you get it back and you're excited to have some new parts on it, and it didn't shoot the same. I was struggling to get everything back into tune, and then on top of it, I've never shot at anything out of a blind before. It's always been wide open or out of a tree. I'm always used to climbing a tree, throwing up a stand and sticks or a saddle platform and sticks and a saddle or whatever. But it was a different experience, and I should have got a taller blind, long story short, because every time I release an arrow, that cam, the cam in the limbs would jump up, tag the top of the blind. It sounded like a shotgun going off in the blind, and then it would throw my arrow trajectory off. And then 2, I think I was rushing some of the shots because I was literally at eye level with some of these deer. And one I shot over, and the other one, I'm not sure where the arrow went. I found them this spring when I went out there scouting. And those deer, they got away scot-free. And then I got redemption with the rifle during gun season. And then during late season, I took 2 more with the rifle. So I cleaned house on some of them. The farmer was really happy, and then he had another couple guys come out and shoot. I think we took 8 deer total off that property, and we still didn't put a dent in it. So
I want to go in there.
yeah.
Y'all ever trying to come to Wisconsin for any hunts? You just hit us up when you're in.
It sounds just like my farm, but I can only draw maybe 1 doe tag a year.
And they're letting us. I mean, we get 2 with our archery tag, 2 with a gun tag as residents. In my area. If we were going in the driftless area, there's more than that available when you buy your license. But then you can pretty much keep buying doe tags until they're out of them, or if they've met the quota for that.
Which I've
that
never
zone.
had an issue with. You can just keep buying them.
No,
That'd be fun. Doe camp.
I'd like to go to like Wisconsin or Kentucky or even Tennessee, Minnesota for early season. Yep, like September season. Missouri, even.
Kentucky's on my radar.
It's a good time to come up and fill a tag. If you're just looking to shoot a deer, our tags are pretty inexpensive for non-residents. Very inexpensive.
Yeah, super affordable. Like it's a very affordable state. Wisconsin's very affordable if you're not from here to hunt here. So
last time when I came down in your state, it was almost $500 into a license and everything. By the time it all said and done,
I'm not against that.
Yeah,
keep it expensive, but
honestly, it's not a bad thing. There's a reason Iowa's expensive and it's as good as it is. So
the whole state in Iowa is a food plot. We have a great shirt we want to bring to the Iowa Deer Classic. It just says Iowa, like the outline of the state, and it just says food plot. The whole, like Derek said that on the way home. He's like, the whole fucking state's a food plot.
A lot of people equate that to easy.
It's not.
It's not. Like I said on the other episode we did on our side.
I'm gonna come out the same one, the outline Iowa, and it says corn pile in the center.
There you go. Do it. Look, clearly we can have the same damn ideas. We had a Freezer Queen shirt, and then I see deer catching deers did the Freezer Queen idea, but they did better than ours. And I was like, well, hats off to those guys. They did a good job with that.
Catching deers, they're on top of shit.
I want to do one. You remember the old Hawthorne Heights song, Ohio is for lovers? I'm going to do one, Ohio is for cheaters. They're going to be a corn pile.
That's pretty good.
Get that going.
Pretty good.
And half of the nuances to it. Like
the right people will understand it and buy it and wear it.
Right.
Hey, get that one going, Eric, for our store.
That's pretty good.
See, that's how
the isms come along.
The WCB isms happen. That's our T-shirts right there. Like, it's we just talk. And
it's just random bullshit that comes out of our mouth.
What is the wage brain one? Like I see it. I think I get it, but I need clarification. Like explain that one to us.
Wage brain was here and then gone. The shirt didn't do as well, but it did okay.
Yeah, it did good.
So basically we're idiots. We just have wage brains. So when I worked at John Deere, there was kind of like the salary and wage divide
split.
So it was kind of a joke that all the engineers, the office people, the managers, the supervisors, the salary side, the Dougs were like, oh, the wage guys are just dumb. When in reality, we were the ones that really made the
world go round.
The world go round because we're the ones like actually making the changes, making the suggestions. So it was kind of like, yeah, we're dumb on paper, but in reality, like we're necessary.
Try working at the actual factory.
No thanks. That was just even worse.
It's even worse.
I just thought the shirt didn't do so well because wage brains didn't understand it.
You know, Doug, you can leave. You can leave.
Son of a bitch,
right there. Walk outside.
Hey, if I remember right, you get paid hourly.
Thanks for having me.
You hourly or salary?
Doug, you came by our booth at the Wisconsin.
So you're wage grain, you dummy.
Hold on, Doug. You came by our booth at. You mean you came by our booth at the Iowa one too? I think, but certainly the Wisconsin one. We're not as deep as you guys yet. Like we're just doing trade shows and they're a pain in the ass. But you took a lot of selfies with Tyler's our co-founder, who's like our silent guy. Because he's like our CFO, COO. He's the guy that keeps all this shit actually like functioning from a business standpoint. But he happens to be like a dog trainer and like a dog guy. So like he's got these dogs on these like beds, and they don't leave the beds. Tyler's dogs don't frickin' move, and if they do, they got hell to pay. So like everyone walks by, goes, "Oh my god, the dogs are so cute. If it was my dog, they would have ran around the whole thing." Yeah, well, it ain't your dog. It's Tyler's dog, and Tyler's a freaking maniac when it comes to dog training. So, like, you came by and took selfies with the dogs. What's the deal? Because you had like a dog thing going on.
I still do.
Still does.
It's called Doug and Dogs on Instagram.
So your mustache has its own page. Doug and Dogs has its own page.
Doug's a real star player here.
Doug's an Instagram porn star is what he
Well,
is.
for the record,
pretty much at every show, I have to follow him around and take pictures of him and these fucking dogs.
what's your Instagram page for your mustache?
Oh,
it's like Doug's mustache.
I still don't know who owns it.
Who are better, you or Bo Martana? Because Bo's got that Rutstash shirt going on.
Well, Doug is the OG of the mustache in the hunting
before
game.
Bo did. So
Doug's the OG. I will claim Doug is the OG. But there's an Instagram page made for Doug's mustache. We don't know who runs it.
That's called Doug's Mustache.
Probably some stalker chick.
How many followers does it have?
It's his wife.
When did it? When's
It is 342.
the last post?
November 28th, 2022.
You got to take a new picture.
So whoever
Take a picture of your mustache tonight.
Yeah, whoever owns that needs
Fell
to.
off.
Let me see the page. What's the last photo of your mustache?
So I actually don't own this page.
Can you take a picture of your mustache with some beer foam in it and then tag that person, whoever that page is?
And see if they post it.
Tagging
I
that.
think we know who it is.
Who is it? Who do you think it is?
I think it's Larry.
Larry McCoy?
Yeah.
Let me see. I want to see the page.
Or Ryan.
Oh,
Hauser.
Hauser.
You just got to do like all sorts of different foods and beers in your mustache, like peanut butter.
I love Doug's mustache. They, them. I'm Doug's mustache. What's up?
Hold up the camera. Hold up that one there.
Oh.
Everyone go follow this right now.
But it actually has 342 followers. I'm impressed.
Switch
by.
over, Jordan. There you go.
There it is. Doug.
Is this up close shots of Doug's
He's drinking beer in the background. That's perfect.
But I don't get it. Is one of them is my camera angle. Like that's my video angle of Doug. Or is it?
I mean, the internet's a pretty powerful thing.
And one's Birds of Iowa.
With great mustache comes great responsibility.
Okay, hey.
So, but the dogs one is interesting because, like, Tyler's got his dogs trained pretty well, and you were like,
well, that just started because we've been to so many trade shows. You see,
and Doug's obsessed with fucking dogs. Yeah. We'll drive to every trade show, and like, if there's a dog walking down the sidewalk, he's like, "Oh, can we pull over and pet it?" I'm like, "No, Doug, we got fucking priorities."
No, Doug.
Dude, it took 2 seconds to pet a dog. I don't know why you're so mad.
Every time,
that's like a mean dog.
And then one day I just thought of like, you know what?
Doug
get a picture with
dogs.
No.
Doug fucks dogs.
What's that scene from The Hangover? Doug. Gotta get my best friend.
Yeah, I got that one a lot growing up.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Growing up, like,
or teach me how to Doug.
Well, we'll know if that Instagram page, the mustache page, gets posted. We'll know whoever is listening to this episode. We know they listen to both Okayest Hunter and WCB.
And WCB, yeah.
I thought it was funny at the time, but now it's like I don't think someone should own the rights to my mustache.
Well, it's
Instagram.
They haven't posted for over a year.
Well, it's a shitty mustache, so who cares?
Yeah, you know, Greg's coming up on you. It's probably Greg over here. Look at this.
What? You started, Greg?
Greg's is just darker.
So Greg,
that's inherent.
I'm doing like 100 things. So Greg shows up here. I'm doing 100 things. I'm like typing, clicking, doing stuff. Greg and I have had like 4 conversations. I've not looked up yet at Greg's face. I finally look. I'm like, whoa,
dude, he jumped up like a cat on a hot tin roof. What the happened to your face?
That thing's fucking 3 miles wide.
He didn't warn me. I just like saw it, and I was like, whoa, man, what is this? You know, business going on.
Sound like my wife.
We need to have a measuring system for mustaches at trade shows.
Ooh, I think you should do a design of a shirt of like just the mustache, but then you show all of like the way you measure the mass, the time length,
the turkey spur measure.
It's like dimensions on it.
Yeah. Like you're measuring.
We need to have a measuring system for mustaches at trade
Eric
shows.
looks like he could have like. You look like you could grow a pretty gnarly stash
My
too.
mustache is disgusting. I watched it on the damn TV show that we put out, and it protrudes so far out.
Did you have snot like stuck in
it's
it?
Just not
Pizza
okay.
chunks, cheese.
My mustache is not a pretty sight. It's not favorable. So it's got to be accompanied with a beard. Otherwise, it's not okay. I don't like it. I don't like it.
The Okayest mustache.
I think you got a good upper lip.
Yeah, good upper lip there.
You got those bird lips. You know, you got to suck that syrup. Anyway, guys,
Jesus,
let's bring the plane in for landing. How do you?
Jesus.
Like, how do people find a working class bow hunter? Like, what should they be doing now, today in 2023? Like, what do we want people to do with Working Class Bowhunter podcast and Working Class Bowhunter?
Google it.
Just search, Google it. You'll find everywhere you need to go. But we also have Victory Drive, Firearm Podcast, brought to you by us, and a fishing one called tackle, and tacos. It's kind of a lighthearted yet serious spin on what we would consider a fishing podcast. So mixing it up WCB style.
And CC.
And CC on files, Working Class on Deercast on the Drury Outdoor series. Yep. But if you just Google us, you can find all that shit. It's easy.
We have a store. We have a about us page. Everything.
Yep, and we support
the about us page, guys.
What's that?
You gotta have the about us page. That's what people care about.
Yeah, that's right.
The contact us and about us pages.
We also have Doug's mustache wax if you want to check that out too to make yourself.
Is this a product?